Hi, my name is Dana Adams. I'm the department chair at Marion County Middle High School English Department, and this is my pitch for my final project. Marion County Middle High School is the 6 through 12 rural school. We have gifted, regular, co-taught, and ESOL classes, respectively. There isn't much variation between tracks, so once kids are put into the gifted class in elementary school, they aren't retested for the gifted program. I know some schools retest for gifted, but we do not. Um, and middle school, we don't retest for gifted. So we have some students that are potentially gifted in middle school that never make it into that gifted class. And some of them, quite frankly, um, deserve to be in that class. Um, Most of the time when I teach the high school students, then I try to identify students who I think might be gifted and encourage them to take AP English in the 10th grade. Also, when I taught 8th grade, I encouraged some kids to try to sign up for the honors classes, but it was very hard to get them signed up. But once I teach them in 9th grade, it's very easy for me to recommend, based on grades, that for them to go ahead and start taking AP English so they can start going off campus as early as their junior or senior year to take college courses. Um, we have an administration that expects that our Georgia milestone scores be close to number one in the RESA district. So we got that last year in ELA, but it's not across the board in all subject areas. And we don't get it consistently from year to year. And it's difficult to get really high Georgia milestone scores because of, you know, we have students that are tracked. So teaching and learning isn't consistent or equitable across the board in all of their courses. You have some teachers that expect a lot, and then you have some teachers that don't, or some teachers that say, I don't teach writing, and everybody needs to be teaching reading and writing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to offer um, equitable grading practices to the faculty. And what I'm going to do is help create a observation instrument that the administration can use to assess what's going on inside language arts classrooms. The rubrics that I use are growth-based rubrics, and there really is no time limit to when a child can show mastery of standards, and there really aren't any late grades when you use growth-based rubrics because you're looking at is the child able to read and write over time. So they have up until the end of the semester to show that, and then we just rename those grades. So what I want them to do is basically, and this might end up being me doing it, is look and see, are the teachers using those rubrics? And the way that we can tell if they're using the rubrics for grading is to look in the portfolios. Next year, we're supposed to be switching to where department chairs can do the observations, and then the administration goes in and does the second set. So basically, I would be doing some of these, and I would just go in and look at their portfolios to see, are they gathering their data in a portfolio to see, can the student produce an essay. Um, and those are standards based items that we have for middle high school. And then also, are they showing some reading growth? So it's not so much about where a student starts out. And I don't want to, anybody to use scores to discriminate against a student. I just want to see some growth. So what we're going to do is we're going to reinforce equitable grading practices. We're going to provide students with multiple opportunities to show they have learned the material and mastered the overall goals of the course. And we're going to provide another caring adult that's going to be helping assess student data, such as the department chair and administrator that is going to be looking in on the student. And a lot of times we can look at the work too to see how a student is progressing in class and help them along. So that overall, administration is not involved in just behavior based goals, but they're academic based goals. And I'm tired of students being written up for behavior when the root of the problem might be academic. So teachers will add to folders, data folders every 4.5 weeks to monitor for growth. And I do that more often, but I do at least check and put a grade in the system every 4.5 weeks to let students know where they are. And then we are going to be using DRC Beacon to report results to administration. So this is kind of like what it will look like. And so basically although we're using the tests, we are going to be using milestones results to see where students are, but the folders are going to be our primary, the portfolio system is going to be our primary means of assessment. And we want to make sure that all students can write an essay and read on at least an 8th grade level before graduation. Now, students with intellectual impairment may not get there, but that's what we're hoping to do. And that's it.